a lot of people struggle with their diagnosis, not just at their initial period when they're diagnosed, of course, but everything that comes after that. I wonder how you've coped, because you've had quite a few stages and issues, so the surgeries, you know, the setbacks in a way, and complications, the lymphedema, for example, that you've had to manage. How have you coped emotionally with all of this?
So the major point of stress, as far as I was concerned, was immediately after the first episode surgery back in 2000. And I was waiting for results to come back. I was absolutely desperate for the results to come back to find out whether the cancer had spread anywhere else, how far it had spread in the lymph nodes, what the position was, and therefore what the prognosis was. And being in hospital on your own at that time, there was nobody else to share it with. And that was very difficult. It was very difficult to actually get through that, and you know, spent a lot of sleepless nights, not just because of the pain and what have you, but also, you know, sort of waiting for people to come and tell you what the position was, and that was quite stressful. I sort of resorted to music and stuff like that, and tried to find some songs that meant something to me. Yeah,
something a distraction, but in a meaningful way.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other stressful point was when they thought that the cancer had spread to my lungs. That was difficult on me and my family more, because I could share that with them. So we tried to keep that from our children, but they knew that something was the matter.
How old were they at the time?
So they would have been, so this is the second episode, so they would have been sort of 10, 15, something like that. So they knew that things were happening then, and they knew that we weren't happy. And my wife was very, very stressed at that time, and still looks back on that time very, very angrily and you know, with great emotion, because we really didn't know what was happening. So it's the lack of knowledge that causes the stress, but equally these results, they take 2, 3, 4, 5 days to come through, often longer than that, and you don't really know when you're going to hear from somebody or how you're going to hear from somebody, and you've just got to sort of take it and just accept that that's what's going to happen. I think the results from scans now are a point of pressure for me. So I had a scan in the middle of February, and my appointment to follow up on that was not till the middle of March. So you've got a month of waiting. Now somebody knows what the results are.
Yeah, quite likely, yeah.
And my track record, my history, I know that if there is something bad, generally they will call you back in quicker. But you don't know that for sure.
Yeah,
so you still play with that in your mind and what have you. And you know, I personally get over that by not sharing it, because I don't want to share my anxiety with other people. I try and bottle it up and keep it within.
I see.
But other people will deal with it differently.
I heard what you said about being on the ward and feeling relatively on your own with that. That strikes me as something that we should be looking to improve for future patients. And was it the case that you didn't have enough contact from other patients there, or family members who were coming in, or from the medical staff? What would have helped in that situation?
So I appreciate this was 15 years ago, so things may have changed in the meantime. But I was on a general ward. There was no specialist cancer care as far as that was concerned. So I, as far as the outside world was concerned, I'd had an operation. I hadn't had an operation relating to cancer. So I was on a ward with people who'd had operations to do with their kidney and their livers and things like that.
Yeah.
And therefore everybody was just treated the same. You're recovering. So, you know, potentially some acknowledgement of the fact that you've done that, but equally that might not be right for some people, because some people try and forget about the fact that they're actually there for cancer. And you know, that might have been, you know, that might have been the way that I tried to get over it the second time round, is that, you know, I was just in for an operation.
Yes, you can kind of tell yourself that.
You can get through both ways.
It's a kind of denial strategy in a way, a minimization strategy.
Yeah.
Try and think about other healthy things as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Do you think it would have helped though to have other patients who you met at the time? Would it have helped?
I think anything that you can share experiences with people can help. So long as they're positive experiences, then that can help. I'm not a great one for sharing, I must admit, but I'm sure. I suppose at that time as well, that's 15 years ago, I was 30. I was very, very young compared to everybody else in that ward. They were all probably 60, 70, 80-year-olds that were in the ward at the time.
Yeah.
There was nobody I could really relate to.
Okay.
And that was quite a challenge.